All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we're going to be in the 168-pound division, where word is being spread out there in the media that Canelo Alvarez is refusing to fight both Terrence Crawford and David Benavidez next, and has another opponent in mind for that fight, which would absolutely be a bad thing, in my opinion. But hey, man, if it happens first and the other ones happen second, I will take it. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we're going to be in the 168-pound division, where the biggest name fighter, or one of the two biggest name fighters in the world, the very least the biggest name Mexican fighter in the world, and probably the biggest name fighter in the world, Canelo Alvarez, is setting up a fight for May, the Cinco de Mayo, right around Cinco de Mayo. And reports are coming out about who that may be. A leading candidate. There are two leading candidates for this for that fight. Really, three should be considered, but one is being bandied about by the boxing media. And if that is true, I'm going to be highly disappointed. The person that most everybody wants him to see, and the fight that absolutely should take place, is a fight between Canelo Alvarez, and David Benavidez, the number one challenger, or the mandatory, according to Mauricio Suleiman, for the WBC, for Canelo Alvarez WBC title. The person that is being trying to be snuck up in there is a guy that is a former 154-pound champion who has absolutely done nothing in his career, in my opinion, ever since he beat Saddam Ali in the prototypical weight bullyish fight. And that is Jaime I ain't done nothing in years Mungia, the most protected fighter in all of boxing, who does not deserve that fight. I am not interested in that fight. He will lose that fight. And oh, what a waste of time it will be. And he is the one person that I am happy when I recall that Canelo Alvarez said that he will not be fighting Mexican fighters. Absolutely ridiculous. Now, I'm not saying that this is true, and for Canelo Alvarez fans, of which I am, though every time I say that I am a Canelo Alvarez fan, I must point out that I don't like the fact that the man tested positive for that dang Combuterol. Every time I say I'm a fan, I got to put that out there, because I'm not going to deny that took place. However, when you look at the breadth of his career and you look at the things that he's done in his career, you got to take your hat off to the man for having fought the fighters that he fought. Man, of the active fighters right now, he's fought more top level fighters than anybody. I don't even think that I don't think there's a close second place, even though the second place after that would probably be somebody like Errol Spence. However, Canelo Alvarez fighting Jaime Mungia is an absolute waste of time, and I would much rather see him fight Terrence Crawford. Now, I know that he's not going to fight Terrence Crawford, because he said he's not going to fight Terrence Crawford, and he says there's nothing in it for him to fight Terrence Crawford, and nothing but a lose-lose situation. That's not my problem, though, when he says that about Terrence. If Terrence was at 168 pounds, if he moved up and he beat David Morrell, and if he beat David Benavidez, shoot, if he moved up and he beat Mbele, who just fought on the undercard of the Arthur Beterbiev massacre of Callum Smith, which, by the way, we all knew was going to be a massacre. No idea how in the world people were buying that line that they were selling about that fight. But whatever. I would take that fight if he was in the weight class, and say, hey, man, you got a responsibility to do it. But that aside, it's David Benavidez, who is a two-time WBC world champion. He's an undefeated fighter. He beat Demetrius Andrade. Um he beat Caleb Plant. He's the top guy that deserves that fight, period. And that fight should take place, and it should take place sooner than later. I think that he is in the David Benavidez is in the same situation at 168 pounds that Jaron Ennis is at 147 pounds. They both are in a division at the same time as you got one of the top guys in the sport, right? Canelo Alvarez, a performance enhancing issue several years ago aside, would definitely be way up there on the pound for pound list for me and is one of the best, most skilled fighters in the world for sure. Terrence Crawford is at the ultimate, at the top of it. And you got two young guys not too far off in the number of fights that they've had, not too far off in their abilities and what level of fighter they are, that need to get those fights with the big names so that boxing fans can recognize who they are and the sport can continue and we can get other big fights. These guys are never going to be in really, really big fights that attract a lot of casual fans, attract a lot of moderate boxing fans until they have an opportunity to get their name recognized by fighting the big name fighters. Uh, Canelo Alvarez had his opportunity to get that done with Floyd Mayweather Jr. Terrence Crawford had his opportunity to get that done with Errol Spence Jr. These people got their chances against the big name fighters to fight, and I think that they should do the same thing for. They should be able to be willing to do the same thing for the other guys that are in their division, if not for the sake of boxing, for the responsibility that they have as a champion in that division. Jaime Mungia doesn't do anything for that. Absolutely nothing for Canelo Alvarez or for boxing in general, because that guy should be fighting somebody like Berlanga or Jaime Mungia. You know, if you swept aside all of the promotional issues that go on in boxing, should be fighting somebody like a step up fight with a guy like Caleb Plant. I would like to see Mungia and Caleb Plant. I would like to see Mungia in Demetrius Andrade, maybe Caleb Plant and somebody like maybe Jaime Mungia and somebody like Jamal Charlo if he's going to stay at 168 pounds. I wouldn't mind taking that. I wouldn't mind taking those fights at all. But other than that, man, I'm really not trying to hear it, man. And any push for it by Oscar De La Hoya and Golden Boy, I mean, it is what it is. I don't want to see it. Now, will I take the fight? Yes, I will take the fight. And I know that there's a 3-fight deal that he has with the PBC. And the first one was with Jermell Charlo. Jermell Charlo, I didn't mind that fight because I wanted to see Jermell Charlo get his shot, get his payday, you know, and all of that good stuff. And he got it. So now let's get on to somebody that really, you know, is a serious threat to Canelo. In my opinion, there's only two guys really that are serious threats to Canelo Alvarez in that weight class, and that is David Benavidez and David Morrell, the WBA world champion. Those guys, those are the only ones that are really the challenge. There's, of course, and again, a shout out to the people that are asking me about him, and Mbile, who looked very good in this fight. But I don't know, man. I think everything is same speed with him. And I think he's very susceptible to some big shots. But he's got a lot of activity. Obviously, the other people for Canelo was if he went to 175 and he fought the winner of this undisputed fight that hopefully will take place between Dmitry Bivol and Arthur Beterbiev, which I believe is going to be Arthur Beterbiev. But anyway, we will see. With that, please let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Deuces.